good father.
Even though he's a busy doctor?
I believe it's the quality of the time a parent spends with you that matters, not the quantity. I mean, he made the moments that we spent together special.
Can you give us an example?
Well, there's too many to count. I guess the one that matters most to me is, it's no secret that I had a problem with alcohol.
Had a problem with alcohol.
He stood by me. He made sure I got help. Instead of judging me, he supported me. And for that, I'll always be grateful.
Your witness.
Mr. Dixon, were you raised by your father?
Well, no.
You lived with your mother most of your younger years, didn't you?
I did.
And like your half-brother Parker, you were once the subject of a custody fight.
That's what they tell me. I was too young to remember.
Do you remember how your father handled it?
He wasn't happy about it.
He wasn't happy. Mr. Dixon, your father kidnapped you, didn't he?
He took me...
Without your mother's permission, from a public park, in defiance of a court order.
He loved me, Mr. Lawrence, and sometimes when you love someone, you go a little overboard.
Maybe take a few liberties, right?
Yes.
Like you have here today?
Excuse me?
I'm talking about your testimony. You said you had a drinking problem, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. What? We agreed.
Just bag the drinking, okay?
Carly.
I changed my mind.
I have no further questions for this witness.
Carly seduced my boyfriend. We pretty much broke up because of her.
That must have made you very angry.
Try furious. Look, I know that there are women out there who have no scruples, who think that they have the right to go after any man, even someone else's, but she's my sister.
Is that when you decided to dangle the trust fund in front of her?
I regret that now, but at the time, it was just a way to get her out of my hair. Look, I knew that Carly would do anything, almost anything for money. But even I didn't think she'd go this far.
Ms. Tenney offered me a large sum of money if I would induce labor prematurely.
She tried to bribe you.
Sure did, even though I told her she'd be endangering the fetus.
The contract was my idea. I would receive custody of the child. She would collect the $50 billion. That was the deal.
There was no deal, Your Honor. That agreement was ruled invalid.
But the fact that she signed it speaks to Miss Tenney's state of mind. Her indifference...
Your
for keeping
Honor,
the
come
child.
on.
No, I'll allow Dr. Dixon to continue.
She signed the contract, and now she's changed her mind. I don't think out of any great love for Parker, but more out of hate for me.
Dr. Dixon, this child was conceived through artificial insemination administered by you. Is that correct?
That's right.
And unknown to Miss Tenney, you used your own semen.
That's right.
You deliberately concealed the fact that you were the donor.
Yes, it was wrong, inexcusable, but it does prove one thing.
What's that?
How much I wanted the child.
John and I lost a child last year. It was very difficult for both of us. I'm sure that's one of the reasons that this little boy is so important to him.
Do you have children, Miss Ryan?
Yes, I have 3. I have an older son who lives in Europe and 2 small children who live here with me.
Did they have a good relationship with Dr. Dixon?
They adore John. No matter what difficulties we were going through at the time, he was always very loving, wonderful, kind to them.
Do you have any qualms about his raising Parker?
No, none whatsoever.
Why our marriage failed?
That's what I'm asking, Lieutenant Munson.
Because Carly wasn't honest with me. She only wanted to have a baby.
And to claim the enormous trust fund that Ms. Cabot set up.
Yes, but I only found out about that later.
Do you remember a hit-and-run accident involving Julia Lindsay?
Yes?
Can you tell the court the circumstances?
As I understand it, Miss Lindsay was standing by the side of the road and a car struck her.
A car driven by Ms. Tenney,
Yes.
who then fled the scene.
Yes, but in Carly's defense, I believe she was about to call for help when she saw somebody else arrive on the scene.
But only after Ms. Lindsay was able to identify her did Ms. Tenney own up to her involvement. Isn't that so?
Yes.
I'd like to ask about another collision. Shortly after she struck Miss Lindsay, did Miss Tenney crash her car into a tree?
Yes?
Was that an accident?
No, I believe Carly was trying to cover up damage to her bumper. Damage the car received when it struck Miss Lindsay.
One last question, Detective. At the time that Miss Tenney deliberately drove her car into a tree, was she pregnant?
Yes.
I'm gonna go to jail now.
Of course you're not. Look, we won't breathe a word of this, okay?
But the judge said
I know what the judge said, but look, I'm your dad. This will be our secret. Just you and me. Nobody else has to know about it. Okay? It's all right. I'm gonna take care of everything. It's all over now. Come on, give me a big hug. Attaboy, attaboy.
If we weren't in court, I'd wipe that smirk off your face. Ooh, careful. That's what sent you to the loony bin.
How can you do this to me?
You did it to yourself. Carly, the whole world is not against you. We are not all here today because of dumb luck. If you lose that beautiful little boy, it'll be your fault. It'll be your loss. It is all on you.
I hate you most when you're right.
You hate me, but you can't blame me. And you can't blame John. You can't blame anyone in this court.
You all want your pound of flesh. Well, I'm gonna beat you at your own game. Put me on the stand.
What, are you crazy?
Let me tell my story.
We already know your story.
My words, my version.
It's too risky.
Risk is all I have left.
Carly,
Just a minute,
I have to know
Molly, please.
something.
Molly,
no,
please.
it's important. I
What?
have to know. I have to know if you had to make a choice right now between Parker and the 50 mil, what's it going to be?
It's gonna be both. He deserves the best life he can possibly have.
No. It can't be both. One or the other, right now, choose. The baby or the cash.
There's
What,
no
Carly?
contest, Molly. Of course, my son.
All right, are you absolutely, positively sure?
Will you stop weirding out on me here?
Tell me.
Molly,
Tell me.
I love my son. You know that. I would burn that stinking money bill by bill by bill if it meant I would have custody. Nothing matters more to me than this little boy. Nothing.
Mr. Lawrence, do you have any further witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. We call Ms. Carly Tenney to the stand.
Let's pray for your mama, sweetie.
Place your hand on the Bible, raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Damaged your reputation. They've maligned your maternal instinct.
Objection.
Sustained. Get to the point, Mr. Lawrence.
Yes, Your Honor. This court has heard you called a liar, a fraud, and a greedy manipulator. How do you respond to those accusations?
It's true. All of it. I'm everything they've said and more. Or less.